Welcome back to another video. Today we are on Chapter 3, Part 2, and Lesson 17 of A Course in Miracles. So let's dive in. So Part 2 is Miracles as True Perception. And this is really interesting because it's discussing how as long as we are perceiving that there is a good and there is a bad, or there is a light and there is a dark, as long as we're perceiving two extremes, we're always going to miss out on the real miracle, the real truth. And so it's saying here that certain fundamental concepts cannot be understood in terms of opposites. And it's essential you realize that, or so they are all true or they are all false. So it's kind of saying that a firm commitment to darkness or nothingness is impossible, but it's essential you realize that your thinking will be erratic until a firm commitment to one or the other is made. So while we're in this place of like, oh, it can either be good or bad, and we're in this waffle in between state, it can be really erratic and really uncomfortable. And then it says a firm commitment to darkness or nothingness, however, is impossible. So we cannot be 100% negative, pessimistic, only seeing the darkness, because we know that there is light. We know that there is the opposite. So part of me finds this a little bit confusing because we do grow up seeing the opposites and seeing the contrasts between good and bad, right and wrong, light and dark, all of these kinds of things. But what I'm understanding from this is seeing that seeing things for what they truly are would be to see the miracle in everything. And that means that that miracle mindedness, or that right mindedness as it refers to in this book sometimes, is really about connecting to the fact that it's all positive, it's all light, and it's all our perception that makes things negative. And maybe I'm off on a limb on this one, but the light or the dark in the sky, neither one is, they're not good and bad. They're both natural, they're both normal, they're both beautiful. When we have things go wrong in our life, wrong by whose terms, and wrong by how you're interpreting it, or what your perception is, or what kind of attachment you've made to things already. And I talked about this on another video about the attachment and how losing something creates this pain, but it's because we had this preconceived attachment and notion that it was actually ours, instead of realizing that it's a flowing entity. This is life, things happen, things change, and focusing on the good all the time. I don't feel like I'm actually explaining this very well at all, but it says innocence is not a partial attribute. It is not real until it is total. Innocent or true perception means that you never misperceive and you always see truly. More simply, it means that you never see what does not exist and you always see what does. So we are so often focused on what doesn't exist, and our mind is usually caught up in the hypotheticals, the what ifs, the anxiety, the fear, the doubt, all these things. It's caught up in what doesn't exist. Whereas if we are just totally focused on what does exist, it's love. And it is that positivity and that good energy and the brilliance, the beauty, the limitless abundance, all of these things that are here on this earth. But it's usually our mind that tells us otherwise, or that keeps us focused on either a belief or this perception of lack, or on something that doesn't actually exist, but we're fearing what it would mean if it did. So I really also like this part where it says, when you lack confidence in what someone will do, you are attesting to your belief that he is not right in his mind. So this is hardly a miracle-based frame of reference. So when we have this lack of confidence in a coworker, a friend, a family member, a boss, whoever it is, we have this lack of confidence in them. That's not coming from a place of love, and that's not coming from a miracle-minded state. that's coming from a place of believing they're not capable, or believing they're not going to be good enough at their job, or they're not right, or they're not whatever. So our lack of confidence is projecting our fear onto someone else instead of believing that, you know what, this person knows what they're doing, they're capable, they're a limitless being of God as well, and so they know inside what's best for them. And with that said, obviously sometimes we make mistakes and things like that, but I think that's also just goes with the perception of how you view mistakes. And do you feel that they're a failure, or do you feel like they're a lesson? Because the miracle mindedness would be finding the lesson and being grateful for the lesson it taught you and how it helped you grow and up level and get to where you want to be. Whereas the fear mind would look at, oh, this is a failure, I'm not good enough, I struggle, I'm always going to be here, something really negative and limiting. So confidence comes from that miracle-based frame of reference, and that faith or that trust in the all-knowing God that everything is going to work out how it's meant to, that people are here to support you, people are here to help you, everyone is innately good, all of that kind of good stuff. So one other thing that I do like in this as well is that it says the way to correct distortions is to withdraw your faith in them and invest it in only what is true. So again, if you are focusing on things that do not exist, stop investing your faith and your time and your energy into those, and withdraw it and invest it into the truth. What is actually true here? What is the real story? How can I bring this back to love? And I love asking this question of what would love do? What would love do in that situation? How would love handle it? Because that always brings you back to a more positive frame of mind than being in the fear, negative, limiting kind of mindset. And you cannot make untruth true. So if you're willing to accept what is true in everything you perceive, then you let it be true for you. And truth overcomes all error, and those who live in error and emptiness can never find lasting solace. So if you're perceiving truly, you're canceling out misperceptions. And really, it all comes back to perceiving the world from a place of love and positivity, finding the good vibes or the gratitude or the miracle in everything, so that then you actually start to perceive the world from that place instead of continuing to project the fear or the limitation or the lack. So lesson 17 says, I see no neutral things. So this carries over from yesterday, which was, I have no neutral thoughts. And so therefore I see no neutral things. So you can look around and see like this one. I do not see a neutral plant because my thoughts about plants are not neutral. I do not see a neutral hand because my thoughts about hands are not neutral. And the whole purpose of this lesson is to, again, help us see our preconceived notions, what we label and identify with for certain things, how we already interpret the world around us and those things that are going on, and what kind of attachments we're giving them, whether it's positive or negative, because we do not see anything neutral. We do not live in that neutrality. We're always labeling it as one or the other. And this is going to help you to start to realize that and hopefully tone it down as time goes on. So give that lesson a try. You can do it a few times throughout the day, looking around, and we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching.